Hello, everybody. My name is Professor Pixel, and below me we have the real Dr. Venkman. Say hello, Venkman.
I will not play your games, but I'll say hello, Pixel.
Well, actually, this time it would be kind of appropriate for you to say hello, Venkman, because we are talking about the real Ghostbusters.
Really?
Yep. Every Saturday, the Ghostbusters official channel is releasing one episode of the real Ghostbusters animated series. And so, after being convinced by Venkman, I've decided that we can go ahead and we'll do reviews on each episode that comes out week by week. And it's not in the description yet, but by the end, I'll go ahead and include in the description where you can watch the episode for yourself after watching us review it, of course. I know you're wondering about the mask. I don't know if anybody's heard, but I did in fact catch the Rona. So that is, you gotta keep other people safe, even across the screen. So I know this series has a special place in your heart, Pinkman.
It's in my soul.
It's in your soul. That's right. I know it has to be like right there because the real Dr. Venkman from the real Ghostbusters just makes sense.
This was my childhood.
Do you remember this episode?
Yeah. This is where it's the very first episode of the series. Came out, I believe, in 1987 or 86. It was like September or something like that, September 13th or something like that. I think it was 87. Might have been 86. But anyway, when it came out, it was went on to ABC. It was a big talked about because back this is the first cartoon kind of like based off of an actual movie, a big movie. And this was a successful movie. It made a lot of money. We had talents. So they got for the cast. At the time we had Lorenzo Music was cast for the role of Peter Venkman. For those who don't know who Lorenzo Music was, he started off as a writer on the Mary Tyler Moore show and did a few other things. He had his own, even his wife, he had their own variety show back in the 70s, but it was short-lived. He went on to play Garfield through the 80s. He did like 12 animated specials for Garfield. So the voice of Garfield was doing the voice for Peter Venkman. And I can understand why some people are like, well, why? That's just kind of weird because it's like you listen, it's like Garfield. Well, what's great about that is that not only is Peter sarcastic like Garfield, it's like you just like for a while you kind of get used to it. Man, there's like 60 or 70 episodes of just Lorenzo Music doing everything. Sadly he got booted off the role. Some speculate the reason he they took the role away from him because it was Bill Murray. Bill Murray didn't want Garfield voicing his character or his likeness, which is ironic because he went on to voice 2 movies of Garfield as the voice of Garfield. So it's like, if that's the reason, wow, what a dick! Because anybody should never lose their job, and that's cancel culture right there. Before you even get Twitter mob.
I don't think it's cancel culture. Cancel culture would have resulted in Lorenzo Music losing his career, but he went on to play Garfield until his death, basically.
2001, sadly died of lung cancer at age 65.
But even then, something came out in 2004 that had him as, you guessed it, Garfield. Yeah.
Well, actually, after 2001 is when he died. 2004, Fred Welker, who speaks for Ray in the show, awesome because Frank Welker. Sorry, Fred is the character he voiced in Scooby-Doo. See, I get those two confused a little bit. Also, Megatron. So seeing him play kind of like a type like Frank, or Frank playing Fred, he was in Scooby-Doo. He's basically this kind of same kind of stupid, naive kind of like a little bit in his Ray as Fred was with his traps. Fred loved all his traps and stuff.
I have to say, he did a good job. He really, for a second, I had to look it up and see if Dan Aykroyd actually did the voice of his own character. sounds like something Dan Aykroyd would have done, but I guess
and
not.
then we have Winston, played by Arsenio Hall, talk show host in the late '80s, up to the '90s, and then he also was in Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, so he played Winston, and then we have I'm gonna mess it up. It's Maurice something. I forget it. The guy who plays Egon.
Oh, yes, the voice of
It's Maurice LaMarche, I think.
Yes, LaMarche.
LaMarche or March. For those who don't know who that is, just by the name, that is actually the voice actor for the Brain on Pinky and the Brain. So when I watched this, I was watching this. I was 4 years old when I was watching all this stuff coming out, and then when Pinky and the Brain came out, I was like, it's Egon. So now when I go back to watch this again, it's Brain. It kind of at first it took me out of it. I was like, all I hear is, gee, Pinky, you know what we're gonna do tonight? That's all I can think. It was the Brain.
Every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
And I gotta ask you, because you watch Animaniacs, you know the Brain. That's probably one of your favorite. I don't know if that's one of your favorite characters. Hearing him voice Egon, because you've only known Harold Ramis from the movie.
Yes.
What did you think? Did it throw you off?
No, he did a good job. It's another one of those, when you have the right voice actor in the right role, they're able to take a voice that's familiar to everybody and get the areas of it down. It's something that has to be done very carefully. Voice acting is something that can be even more difficult than regular acting at times, because you have to put everything into your voice.
Yep.
Not that I would have any experience with that. I only have one voice after all.
Like I said, I kind of like the way the characters are different from the actual movie a little bit. The personalities are different. Ray's a little bit more kind of dumb, but it makes it makes it better because as far as he's still smart. But like I said, he's still kind of the naive, And the big change I have from this show is that Slimer is actually a good guy. He's actually
he's
I'm kind of glad they did that.
Little sidekick that they talk about killing every other episode.
We call him the Spud. He floats around, eats food all the time. It's sad, and when I was younger, I was so in love with the show, I started picking up the comic books. So the Real Ghostbusters, issue number 1 from Now Comics.
Let's see.
So I started picking these up, and Engeltine on I Love Comics was nice enough to have this up for auction. This is the first of 3. I got all 3. Actually, no, sorry, my bad. This is number 3. The first 2 I have stored. Yeah, 3 of 3. So, as you can see, I have my kind of fuzzy back here, but I got my pop figures. I even got the ectoplasm energy drink.
He went all out.
This is back in 2001, I think they had. So right
is that full, or did you empty the can?
No, it's empty. I drank it. It was all right. It was like, I probably wouldn't buy another 6-pack. Kept this around.
Ecto cooler.
Probably the best drink. If you were if you were in your single digits like I was like 4 or 5, 6, watching this stuff. Because sadly, the show went on from like 86 to until 1991 is when it went off the air. But Saturday mornings, this is what I watched. I used to pick up the little juice boxes. They were orange. They had Slimer on the front. And I would drink those all the time. That was my favorite drink. Even so much, I had my first book I got from them. Through Scholastic. Actually, it wasn't Scholastic. It was Simon and Schuster from Little Simon. So, this is one of a couple.
So, in case you didn't know, the real Dr. Bankman really loves Ghostbusters. Getting to the episode itself, Ghosts Are Us. It's a simple little plot. They catch 3 level 5 ghosts, I believe.
Yes, class 5s.
Class 5s. somehow these ghosts know their own classes, which I don't know. I guess ghosts have a classes system.
Well, I think they don't really know the class, but what they know as far as I know, this guy's it. This are actually exceptionally smart. The one he had. Yeah. It's these three ghosts. Basically, you start off in the chocolate factory. They're wreaking havoc. Ghostbusters are called to scenes. They're going in there, and it's like there's a little scene where Ray Thig's like, I'm gonna get him, I'm gonna bust him, and they throw chocolate at his face. It's like he's just drinking chocolate. I'm thinking if it's that liquidy, it's probably hot because chocolate only does it. He'd be scalding, but you see his little eyeballs, cartoon stuff. Even Winston gets hit in the face, and then they have like a little syrup goes on like a little nose, looks like a snowman or Santa Claus. So basically you got these three ghosts in here. There's a father, the wife, and then the baby son. He has the big diapers on, everything. He's always telling him, comb your hair, you big doofus, he's always bossing around. And I swear, the voice actor, it had a bit. I'm thinking of Lorenzo Music doing the voice for the father, but then again, he sounded like George Costanza's father from Seinfeld. Sounded like Jerry Stiller. He's like, comb your hair. You look like a mess. You're always a mess. It's like, and
that's exactly the kind of character they were going for. They end up catching the three, and then Slimer, he's warned basically, if he makes one more mistake, we're gonna blast him.
But the reason that was because they got a year's supply of chocolates from the factory. So they each go in the Janine, all four Ghostbusters. I have like a giant hearts. Janine, you're such a great secretary. And she opens up, empty. He's like, yeah, of course I'm surprised. They're all empty. And except for the last one. They look down at Slimer, he's snoring. His belly's all full. He ate all the chocolates. They're like, so that's why Bagley's like, let me blast the spud. It's like, he's like, Slimer, you screw up one more time, you're out of here. So it's, so they all go. I know. They all go to bed, and this is probably. So, what do you think of this scene that's coming up, with Slimer? Whose voice by Frank Welker too. The guy who speaks for Ray. That's also the voice for Slimer.
So, he's trying to eat his dreams, and then he eats his pillow. Then he goes down to get food. And for some reason...
He sneezes, that's why. Remember, he sneezes and he drops down like little puddles. It goes.
Yes, I remember. For some reason, who was it?
Winston.
Winston
Winston got up because he heard Slimer. Remember, Slimer was going to the refrigerator, and Slimer went to go open the refrigerator door. He's pulling, and they opened up, and he smacked against the wall. So then Winston heard a noise, goes to check on the fridge. So what does Slimer do? Do you not remember? I'll continue on.
Go ahead.
Slimer goes down into the basement where they have the containment units, and so then he's in there, and then all of a sudden, he makes noise in there too. He drops his food, he's really quick. Hides down under the stairs as Winston goes out. He's like, is somebody in there? Hello? And I'm thinking, if Slimer would have said something, it would have been fine. No, they wouldn't have, but he's scared. They're going to get rid of him. They're going to throw him in the containment center, or units, I say. And so as Winston goes to bed, he slides out. He's like, he's holding his food. He's got a sack full of food, man. This is a little pig. He's like, he's wiping the sweat off because he sweated, and he slides out and he knocks over the power switch for the containment unit, which you're not supposed to set the containment grade. You're not supposed to set up, and it goes. He's just sitting there eating a banana. he's like, oh. So he has to quick run over to the switch, and he lifts it back up because he sees a light go to flashing red above the switch. He lifts it up, and he's like, oh, I think I'm fine. The only problem is that those 3 Class 5s got loose. And they decide, well, they want revenge. They're going to put the ghosts out of business. They call themselves Ghosts R Us. And when I was saying about the title, Ghosts R Us was a play off of Toys R Us, which is a big toy company that they basically worked for giving out all the Ghostbuster toys. I used to go there all the time. Even towards the end, 2018, when they finally closed down, I was still buying Ghostbusters toys there. I was like, this is awesome. Like, they had toys from my childhood were still there. I was like, and because I hate buying online stuff. But anyway, getting back to the show though, like, yeah, they're running them out of the business, and then I don't want to talk over Pixel. Is there anything else you want to throw in there before we start going towards the end here?
No, it's fairly simple end. They go to basically stir up a Class 7, but the Class 7 ghost...
Turlock, Turlock, you there? Yeah. No.
He's not there anymore. Instead, this slug-like ghost creature comes up as an eyeball, and he's like, Turlock isn't here anymore.
Like ate him or something like that.
And so the other three are terrified, and this
well, yeah, he disturbed his sleep. Do you remember he was in the furnace? He kept clanging the wrench around the crowbar. Wake up! So this ghost is pissed. They disturbed him, so he's going after these three ghosts now.
And he becomes this gigantic toy-like ghost, and he starts chasing them. The toy ghost, I think, is what he's called in this episode.
Yeah,
he's a class.
He takes a class 10, and now get this: Gozer in the movie was only a class 7. So this is worse than Gozer, and this is the very first episode. You're like, holy crap! And when I watched this, I didn't know what the class levels was for Gozer was. Going back and actually looking at the official site, they list Gozer in Tobin's Spear Guide, as being only 7. I was like, wow, really? But then again, she just made a giant snowman, or not snowman, a giant safe-up marshmallow man. This guy right here, and like going through and just destroying everything, having a jolly good time. It's the monster. They ends up the ghost becomes like he takes this giant. It's an abandoned toy factory. Is where he's living, and I gotta say the artwork for this, the scenery background, I love it. The animation, the sound of the proton packs, the designs. When Peter he first goes to capture the ghost because in the chocolate factory, he turns it on. That sound, it powers up, and you see the lights whirring on the proton packs. It's just so cool. And then he said, like, so the ghost basically takes in a form. He's a form, physical form. Takes his giant tricycle, and his little tricycle. It turns into a giant tricycle. And he's in a bear that has like the fur's gone from the leg, so he's using it. And he's pedaling on the thing, and he's got a giant block for a head. Eric Breen, Pixel, we want to take care of that. So I was basically thinking about this when I saw this. Because like, this is a giant thing, a giant 50-foot, like about the same size as the Safe Puff Marshmallow was, and he's going across the Brooklyn Bridge, I think it was. I'm not sure what bridge, you don't specify. And he's just running over cars. People are like, there's one guy's like in the cab, he's like, "Come on, I'm paying more for this," and they look behind her, the giant tricycle going there. It's just, people are fleeing, but I don't know if people died because the car is just destroyed as it goes through. And what's cool about this is the Ghostbusters were following this class 10, and in Ecto 1, this is where we get introduction to the Ecto 2. Oh wow! And like the Ecto 2, I forgot about this in the first episode. It's a helicopter, and it has like the wings, those kind of plane helicopters, and they're flying around that, and we can see how dumb Ray is again. Remember, Ray fires the freaking grab, like, look at him, we got him, we'll trip him over, and he's like, and the thing just starts spinning him around. And he's like, and I love it, like Egon's like, and Slimer's up there, he's like, great idea, Ray.
We have a guest star by one, Mr. Breen.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I can.
God damn it! I just went through all kinds of crap, and it was Dante that screwed it up.
That's all right. we're just wrapping up our Ghost Star.
I'm gonna text him back and see if he wants to try again. So have a good rest of the show. Thank you very much for letting me do this. And I said, hey, we might be streaming when you guys get done. So come check us out. Thanks, guys.
Send us a link.
Yeah,
All right.
how I would. See you
later.
All right. This disruption.
Yes.
What are you doing? We just had an interruption. You really going to interrupt us now? What are you doing? It's my channel. Well, yeah, but I Venkman asked me. He asked me to come here. Venkman, can you vouch for me?
I never get between a man and his puppet. Sorry. It's what's what.
This is
I can't do it because
he's not
of God.
Going to back you. He's my co-host, not yours. Listen, we're just talking about Ghostbusters. You mean the episode of Ghostbusters I watched before bed last night? Really? Really? Where are you at, Venkman?
Where are we at? Towards the end here, actually.
Go ahead, wrap it up.
All right. All right. All right. Anyway, so we're right towards the end. The Ghostbusters are chasing the vehicle, and we got the Class 10 going through, destroying stuff. They eventually end up. What happened is that Egon says there's no choice. In order to stop this, they decided well, we're going to he overloads the Ecto 1 helicopter, so it's attached to a proton pack, so it's gonna blow up. So, Slimer decides, he's like, you know what? I'm quit. He's like, he's tired of being a coward. He's thinking back to how he's scared he was. He's like, he decides to go down the rails of the Brooklyn Bridge and the rail at the cables, and he slides, and this causes the monster basically who was walking up those things because he got off his tricycle, slip and fall into the river or the ocean. I think it's Hudson. I'm bad with that stuff.
They basically end up in the river.
In the river. Ray and Egon are still on the bridge. They look down, and the toys in there. The ghost is in. He's in the water. He's getting ready to come up. He reveals his form. He abandons the actual toy. He reveals his form. He's a giant slug. He's got several teeth. You kind of remember that the sand monster creature that was in the Star Wars. The original Star Wars?
Not Snorlax. Sorry. The Snorlax.
Yeah, his giant teeth comes up. He comes up, and at the last second, the Ecto 1 or Ecto 2 blows up, and it takes out the ghost. And now looking back at this,
so he's a gross little worm like a Pixel here. Steals in, takes things. That's uncalled for. Go on, finish it up.
Well, if you're done interrupting. Right. We're gonna go with So that what I was saying, we're just saying is that the proton pack basically have enough positive energy or protons in there to basically disrupt the ghost's, I guess, negative field, whatever it is, or something. I forgot how the term works, but I kind of found that I was like, well, I always thought that proton packs were like a nuclear bomb. They run on nuclear energy. So that going off, I thought that would they take out part of the bridge or radiation. But
I remember it was a gigantic explosion of.
yes, and so 4-year-old me watching this, I had no idea. I was like, oh, that's so cool, but I was so sad. I was like, oh, they destroyed one of the cool helicopter things I have, and just because I had that toy growing up, I was like.
The Ecto 2.
Ecto 2. So at the end, they go back, and they're kind of like, Slimer's kind of forgiven of this. The ghosts are put back inside, the 3 ghosts, at the end, because they're hiding. They actually jumped inside the actual trap, because they want to get away from this ghost before, for all this all is happening. They're like, save us! They all jump in there. It has a nice ending for all this, and I gotta say, for being a cartoon that came out, and I think it's either 86 or 87. It's over 30 years old. I still enjoy it. Now, when I first, because I originally, when I put these off because I like, I was like, my memory plays tricks me. I think it's gonna be worse than what it was, But I was shocked to go back and watch it again. This is probably my third time watching this. I watched this back again back in 2000, and then early 2000s, and then watch it again. It's like 21 years later. It still holds up. It's still great. I enjoy it. The voice acting is just superb. You got Arsenio Hall is Winston. You got Laurice March, the guy who speaks for the brain, from Peking the Brain, is Egon. You have Bill Murray's character, Peter Venkman, played by Garfield. Lorenzo Music, who's a phenomenal voice actor in this, because I can distinguish the two as far as distinguish the two between Garfield and Venkman, because the way Venkman acts is totally different than Garfield.
Hey, Odie, let's go catch some ghosts.
He's
Don't
not
insult Garfield like that.
But so I do love in the series though that that Slimer is kind of like an Odie. He's always causing trouble for Garfield. So they're kind of like back and forth, in this. So Slimer's So, and not only that, last but least, we got Frank Welker, who speaks for Fred, and it's just basically brings Fred to being close to being like he is for Ray. You still get the Yes, Les Morandi, Lorenzo Music. For those who don't remember who he is, the voice of Garfield. Did 12 animated episodes. Also, Meryl Tyler Moore wrote some scripts on that. Did some other stuff. Phenomenal person. I love. Sadly, he passed away at age 65 of lung cancer back in 2001. Like I said, this. I love the cast.
It's an all-star cast.
Like I said, Yes, Carlton the Doorman was his other on the Rhoda show. That got him. I think he got an award or something, like Academy Award or something like that. He won for that. Sadly, only won for the pilot never went. Yeah, they had an animated thing he did, and I don't think it never got the pilot ever got aired. But a phenomenal person. I love him. It's sad that he passed away. I would have loved to have a reboot of it. Not even a reboot of this, continuation of the actual, because they're talking about animated shows getting either reboots or continuations, like Batman the Animated Series. I know this series was back in '97, got not a reboot, but they basically got a continuation, like a future version of that, but a new team, most stuff, the Extreme Ghostbusters, and they brought in Maurice LaMarche and then back into it. And voicing Egon. They even got the same girl that played what's her name?
Janice?
Janine.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Janine was actually two different characters, two different voice actors. She was also replaced by the second season. The original voice actress will go for whatever reason. I still don't know why, and you don't really notice it. But then again, it's the second season. I'm thinking where it is. The second, it'd be considered like the second or third season. That's what they did. They made Janine much like ditzy. They got rid of the Jersey thing. Because even a joke in here, it's like, I forgot what they said. It's like,
No, I remember what it is. No, let me tell it. He says, oh, well, I think that they might be from New Jersey. There's no signs of intelligent life.
Like you said, this cartoon series was like very like snarky and snippy. I love it. So Pixel, I know this is your first experience with this show. Same as you as Puppetine. What did you guys think of it? Did you guys enjoy this? Is something you probably would watch more of it if you weren't reviewing it?
Yeah. I'm definitely going to keep going. It premieres every Saturday. I'm definitely going to watch it, and I'll be back to review it if I let you.
You guys are both welcome.
I liked it too. Is he though? Look at the channel name. What? Can you read it for me, Venkman?
On StreamYard it says Professor Pixel and RDV. Let me look at the channel name though.
The channel name.
It says I love Ghostbusters.
No, I don't think it does. I think you're full of shit.
Wow.
I love puppets. And
your voice went really deep there, Mr. Puppetine.
Nice. You want to go lower? You wanted to go lower? I might be possessed. Of course, he might be possessed. He's a sick man. All right. I enjoyed the show. I think Puppetine enjoyed the show. Get your hands off of me. I'm definitely going to be back to watch it again. I think the episode plot was enjoyable. Again, it's a children's cartoon. I know when we reviewed Fantastic Four, there was a lot of bad in it. But this single episode was better than any episode of the first season of the Fantastic Four. Here comes the four. Fantastic.
Melissa. The Johnny Star.
You don't need to remember that. Nobody needs to remember that. But I think that about wraps up our show.
Yeah.
Are you going to let me do the outro?
But what did you guys think of it? You guys, as far as the animation, this was all Japanese animation at the time. 80s. A lot of cartoons were basically were drawn over there and and then dubbed here. Or actually, not dubbed. This wasn't dubbed here. This was actually was the recorded live here, but the animation was not U.S. It was all. If you look at the credits, they had all different people. And I should also point out that Chuck Menville wrote a lot of these episodes up until he decided to leave.
The animation was definitely solid. It had some weak spots, of course, but that's the same for anything that's like hand drawn. There's going to be an error here or there. Chilliam hopes no one dethreds Puppetine. I think the voice acting was also solid. Yes, it was most enjoyable. I gotta say, I definitely liked it a lot more than I expected to. Again, we're watching a children's cartoon, and none of us here are children. Well, you're kind of a baby. Look at you, baby face. And like I said, this episode had a simplistic children's show plot, but it was enjoyable. It was definitely something that I would definitely show my future kids one day.
What about the music though? Throughout the episode,
it fit. It fit with the Ghostbusters theme. It felt right. So, I mean, I know I'm not like Rob. Nobody's like Rob, except Rob. And he pays attention to little things like that, and I gotta give him props for it. But when it comes to me, I follow the story itself, and it was childish, but it was enjoyable. That's what I'll say.
Like I said, I think this show was more aimed towards I was 4 years old. I think it was aimed towards older kids. Because I remember watching this, like when it shows like the class 10 first coming, it's like, hey, it's like, Turlock, come on, and then it goes wrong, and then the music changes. It's so dark, and it's just like, I remember some of these scenes, like it's like, holy crap. And then because I remember when this show came out Saturday mornings, ABC, I was watching this, and like my parents at the time. I shared a room with I'm the youngest of 4 siblings. So my sisters had their own bunk beds in their room. And then me and my brother had our own room, we bunk beds. My parents had to pull out sleeper slipper in the living room. So my dad would go to work Saturday morning, work overtime. I'd crawl in bed. And this is back when you had the big, tube screen TVs. You had the headphones like these, but they had the actual plugs on the end of them, which you want to call it, and then you plug it into the actual TV, the headphone jacks. You use that, and I would lay there, and I had my pillow, and I did lay there, and I just watch the TV in front because they had our TV center was in there, so I'd open doors, probably turn on the TV, and I was just like living. I was like, I'm trying to be quiet because my mom's sleeping, so I'm like, sneak in because I only had one TV, so and I was just like, yes, it's awesome. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. I was like.
You know, I think you were definitely too young, though. You should have at least been 4.5. I don't think that half would have made much difference. It made all the difference.
Puppetine, Puppetine, are you even old enough to watch this?
I am definitely old enough. I'm older than this guy.
But he's taller than you. And he's got 20. We have 22 years, I think, confirmed. We don't have no idea how old you are.
You don't need to know. You know, it's not polite to ask
I want to see your tag.
You don't have to see my tag. What are you doing? I didn't get a good look. You want to let me? Don't touch back there. What the hell do you think you're doing? This is my channel. I don't like this. Not at all. All right.
Mariah says, I remember watching this when she first came out and enjoyed it. And yeah.
It's definitely enjoyable. Absolutely. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing the next episode, and I definitely enjoyed reviewing it with you. I don't know if the puppet will let me back on. Probably not. But if he does, then I will be here next week to talk about it again. So speaking for, let me do it. Speaking for the real Dr. Venkman.
Speaking for me? What?
Yes, speaking for you.
You don't speak for me.
And for the bozo back here, I want to thank everybody for joining us.
Puppetine, Cecilia.
This isn't Sesame Street. I understand the confusion. This isn't Sesame Street. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure to leave a like. If this is after the stream has aired, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of it. And make sure that notification bell is on and that you're subscribed. We don't want you missing any content here, even though I missed about half of it.
Also, check out the release dates, the exclusive videos, the Ghostbusters, the actual real Ghostbusters. Every Saturday, I believe around noon is when they drop on Ghostbusters, the official Ghostbusters. It's just called Ghostbusters, and that's the official one for YouTube. There is in there. And if you're a fan of these, you should check out Extreme Ghostbusters, which is the sequel series to the real Ghostbusters, which came out in 1997. That's also being dropped out on that channel, Ghostbusters, on YouTube, every Wednesday nights or Wednesdays. So you have two things that you can watch it. So like I said, if you're a kid or a person who just wants to, if you have children, grandchildren, you want them to watch something, this is a Saturday morning cartoon they can watch on Saturday.
Saturday morning cartoons are back, folks. They are back. Like Puppetine, and I'm not going anywhere. Just want to make that clear. So thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you next time. And